A familiar face for you now here on France 24. Diptyque Laurent is making her return to the press review today after her maternity. Good to have you with us, of course, Diptyque. We're starting, though, with a devastating murder. This is in Ireland. It's triggered a nationwide discussion, hasn't it, on femicide?
That's right. It's the murder of Aisling Murphy, a 23-year-old primary school teacher. She was murdered. She was actually strangled while going out for a run in Tullamore, that's west of the Irish capital, Dublin, last week. Her brutal and inexplicable murder has prompted tens of thousands of people to hold vigils across the country. That was last week, and even as far as New York. And as proof of how big this story is, a nationwide minute's silence will be held in her honor today as her funeral takes place. And her funeral will be live streamed, as you can see on the front page of the Irish Daily Mail. It's a day of silence and mourning, it says.
It's dominating the opinion pages too, perhaps not surprisingly, Diptyque, particularly the judicial inaction around femicides.
That's right. It's really brought into light women victims of murder. Calling out unacceptable behaviour towards women is never easy, but it's not impossible. That's what the Irish Times columnist Louise Crowley says. While we recoil in horror at such a murder, we should also be more proactive in speaking out against unwanted verbal or physical advances when we see it in public. She wonders if our passivity on these advances invariably result in the escalation to abuse by some others. The focus of change, she says, though, is firmly on the behaviour of men. The Irish Examiner, meanwhile, says Aisling Murphy's killing, quote, seemingly changed Ireland irrevocably. This browbeating and national discussion must turn into action. That's what the editor is really imploring today.
Let's move on now with reactions to that drone attack we've been telling you about on an oil refinery in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that's right. A heinous attack is how the Emirati paper, The National, describes it on its front page. An attack in which 3 people have been killed. Yemeni Houthi rebels have, of course, claimed responsibility for the drone attack. The group's official newspaper, Al Masira, warns on its front page today that the UAE is not safe from future attacks. Indeed, one member has even said that this is just the beginning.
And you found a piece, haven't you, Diptyque, on the website Courrier International saying that Iran could be the driving force, if you like, behind the attack.
Well, the conflict in Yemen is sort of a proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia, sworn enemies. Indeed, the reason that Abu Dhabi was targeted is because it is part of the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen. Given the current Iran nuclear talks in Vienna, the attack could have been a way of Iran putting pressure on its regional enemies through the Houthi group.
Something completely different. Diptyque is now going to tell us about a new body part that is the focus of health regimes.
That's right. We're never short on new body parts to be taken care of. And this article from the British paper, The Times, tells us that armpits are getting a lot of beauty buzz these days.
Okay.
In fact, an armpit clay mask has been trending on TikTok. There are also armpit acids, scrubs, and moisturizers. According to the article, a recent research for the beauty brand Dove shows that 6 in 10 women feel they have been judged on the appearance of their underarms.
Okay.
Much like other body parts, we are, quote, bombarded with hairless, one-hued underarms, which really are the pits for some women.
This is what we're just talking about, women's underarms.
Are you insecure about your arms?
Yes, don't shave them either. Anyway, finally from Diptyque, a very long-running neighbourly legal battle. This is in Italy. It's finally come to an end, and it has nothing to do with armpits.
No, it's got to do with noisy toilets.
Okay.
This case began in 2003 when a couple living in La Spezia complained that a new bathroom installed by their neighbours was so noisy it prevented them from getting a good night's sleep.
Right.
That's what the Times tells us. And so ensued a nearly 20-year battle. I'll spare you the details of the legal back and forth, but suffice to say, the judge of the highest court, I believe it's a top court in Italy, has ruled in favor of the couple, even invoking a good night's sleep as a fundamental human right. But the Italian papers have really dumped on the judicial system for taking so long to do so. One paper says, This is a story of human rights and toilet flushes.
You said dumped then.
I did.
You did say dumped.
Another pun.
I do sympathise, actually. We have to do this programme. We have to go to bed very early. I go to bed about 9:30, and the apartment next to me, the man or woman who lives there, have a bath every night. So I go to bed every night to water running.
Yeah. So you've shamed your neighbour, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But they live the other side, so it's all right. They don't know me. Diptyque Laurent, thank you very much. Good to have you back with us here on France 24. Diptyque with the papers. She'll be back tomorrow, and we'll have more news coming up very shortly. So do stay with us if you possibly can.